Hello, my amazing first grade artists. Today we are going to be taking a look at the amazing artist named Paul Klee, and we are going to take a look at his style of cubism. We are going to be creating some colorful cubist cities using the awesome element of art, shapes. I can't wait to see what you create. Alrighty, for this project today we are going to be using a pencil to start. You might want an eraser. We will be tracing with marker, which means we need that extra paper underneath to protect our table. I would love it if you used crayons. If you don't have crayons, colored pencils will work too. If you don't have either of those things, make sure that you're adding those line details with that permanent marker. And then I will be modeling this project with paint. If you are not able to paint, that's okay. I recommend then just coloring it in all the way with crayons or colored pencils or markers, whatever you happen to have. So let's get started. We are taking a look at that fabulous artist, Paul Klee, and in particular, we're looking at his cityscapes, the landscapes that he made of cities. To get started, we're going to be dividing our paper into shapes. We're going to use shapes to build our city. So what's a good shape that I could use to make a building? Those are all great ideas. I'm going to start with a rectangle. I can do another rectangle. Maybe this building goes all the way from the ground to the sky. I could use a square or a rectangle that's just a little bit shorter since this one isn't perfectly symmetrical. I could do another rectangle and carve a half oval out of it. I could add in a rectangle. Now I'm going to start adding some details to these buildings using some other shapes. Maybe I divide a building up using some triangles. Maybe I add windows using some circles. Maybe I divide a building up into a whole bunch of smaller rectangular / square spaces. Maybe I add a triangle on top of a building. Maybe I divide that triangle in half. Maybe I come in with some lines to divide up this really tall building. Maybe there's a shorter building in front of it. Maybe there are some squarish windows. If you don't like a line, remember you can always erase if you start with pencil. Maybe I've got kind of a rounded half circle shape up here. Gonna fill in all sorts of details for my buildings. You can layer in as many buildings as you would like today. But I want it to have some layers. We're working with shapes to build our buildings in kind of this cubist style like the artist Paul Klee. Once I have added in most of my shapes, the last thing that I'm going to add into this cityscape before I start going for some details with a marker and crayons and paint is I'm going to add in either a moon or a sun. On this one, I think I'm going to go with a moon because that's one of the things that he also would include in his artwork. Now I'm ready to trace with marker. I'm going to make sure that my protector paper is underneath so that it doesn't go on the table. Alrighty, so in addition to doing some Sharpie lines, I added some crayons for some wax resist. I would just love to see some wax resist and am open to whatever you would like to try. Adding some lines in your different spaces can add just a little bit more visual interest and texture to your artwork. Once you're ready to go, you are ready to paint. For painting, you are going to need a water cup and your watercolors. In between each color, you're going to want to add a drop of water to that color and make sure that you're squishing your brush in the cup, swiping on the lip so that the brush is clean. Let's start painting. When you're all done with your fabulous artwork, please put it on Seesaw in our Seesaw activity. Also, make sure that you take care of your space and your supplies and have those all cleaned up when you are done. If your paint tray is wet, don't put it in a plastic bag. Wait for it to dry before it goes away. I can't wait to see what you'll create.